Hello! So in this video I'm going to take a look at a couple of custom game modes that have appeared in the Custom Modes tab. The first of these is Line of Sight, which is an editor's pick, which is odd because all the custom modes are editor's picks. Line of Sight is a custom version of Rush, which is available on Suez, and only on Suez. And that's one of this mode's problems. Suez isn't a great map, it's not great for Rush, and putting this game mode on it is not really advisable, because in this game mode you can only play as a scout or a medic. So essentially you've got the 3-shot kill semi-auto guns versus the sniper rifles. Except it's not quite that simple either, because in this game mode there's 200% damage. So the scout sniper rifles are always a guaranteed 1-shot kill, and the medic rifles are a 2-shot kill. So this mode is designed to be long range combat, which is great, apart from of course this is Suez. So the first set of capture points, one team is out in the desert, in the open in the dunes, and the other team is camping in the buildings. So in a few rounds of Line of Sight I've played, the attacking team has never got out of the dunes. They've just been met by a volley of sniper fire from cover. Now I can see what DICE were trying to do with this mode, because there are some tactics that would obviously work. If the attackers took pretty much just medics and revive trained, they could get through that volley of sniper fire. If the defenders had a majority of snipers backed up with a few medics, they could keep the attackers at bay. So there are some nice tactical ideas in this mode. But those ideas are kind of ruined by the 200% damage model. If a sniper can just hit you anywhere and take you out, well, that's just too easy. And the medic guns basically go from a 3-shot kill to a 2-shot kill. So the advantage for the medic guns isn't as big an advantage as it is for the snipers. The snipers can pretty much snap shoot, they can close range shoot, they can long range shoot, and they're guaranteed to get a kill. The medics have got to land 2 accurate shots against snipers. So what's the reason for playing a medic in this mode? Well, obviously you can revive your teammates, and that's pretty important in this mode because the respawn timer has been increased to 30 seconds. So when you get shot, you sit there and you wait. And you wait. And you wait. And you wait. I'm not speeding this up, I'm going to make you go all the way through it. And you wait. And you can't respawn. You're just sitting there. There's no medic around. And eventually you'll be able to respawn. Now I can see this mode being really good between organised teams. When you've got a proper team balance of medics and snipers, the attackers and defenders have worked out what the balance is going to be, where they're going to go. This would be a really good game mode, maybe even a competitive game mode. But as a joining with random people game mode, what you tend to find is there's a whole load of snipers and not that many medics. Because of course the big problem of playing a medic against these snipers is when you run out to try and revive somebody, they've obviously just got sniped. And you then become the next sniping target. So unless they're in cover when they've died, you just don't revive people, because why would you run out into the open to revive somebody who's just been sniped? So to conclude, Line of Sight is an interesting idea, but it's on the wrong map. It's on what is still the worst map in Battlefield 1, and it really doesn't suit Rush when the snipers are doing 200% damage. This mode would have probably worked better with just the standard damage model. Maybe that wasn't deemed custom enough to be a custom game mode. Yes, it's restricted to medics and scouts, and yes, they've restricted some of the gadgets and grenades, but it's really just a bit of a mess of a mode, and I think that's mainly down to the map and the damage model. But there you go, that's Line of Sight. It's a long range, kind of hardcore Rush mode. Now maybe DICE realised that they hadn't quite got things right, because the next mode we have is Hardcore Rush. Now this uses the full-on hardcore rules. All weapons are allowed, all classes are allowed, but it's hardcore mode. The maps you get are the normal rush map rotation. Now I have to say at this point I am not a fan of hardcore mode. And I am particularly not a fan of hardcore mode in Battlefield 1 because of the way it does it. I hate that delay in between looking at a friendly player and seeing the marker over their head. It leaves you with two options. Do you shoot first and wonder if it's a teammate later, or do you delay until you find out if it's a teammate, but you might get shot by the other guy who knows you're an enemy? Sure, if you're an eagle-eyed guy who can spot what team somebody's on from halfway across the map, it's probably great, but for me, I can't. So I often end up shooting at my own teammates, and I know that this isn't just me, because I get shot by my own teammates a lot as well. So this is just something that happens in hardcore mode. People shoot their teammates, and it's mainly down to the fact that you don't get a marker to tell you that they're your teammate until you've stared at them for a while. Now you can kind of get around this by spamming Q while you're looking at somebody and it will tell you that they're an enemy, but you often can't do that in those clutch close range situations. The thing I do like about hardcore mode is the fact that most other information is restricted as well, so you don't get a minimap, you don't get an accurate ammo count. If you use a mortar, you don't get the top-down display, you just have to try and guess as to where your shots are going to go. That is pretty interesting, and in fact I think the mortar works a lot better in hardcore mode than it does in normal mode. That lack of information and having to just lob shots out and then adjust to aim your new shots based on where your old shots went, that's really good. But like I say, a first-person shooter where you can't really work out who's on whose side doesn't really work for me. I know it works for a lot of people and some people swear by hardcore mode, but I just can't do it. Something surprising that I did find in playing the full hardcore mode over line of sight is that the damage model doesn't seem quite so horrible when you play the full mode. Because you've got the variety of weapons and because everybody is doing more damage, you don't seem to notice that the snipers are doing one-shot kills all the time. Now this may be down to the map as well, where there are a lot more close range engagements, and the variety of different weapons that are better at closer ranges mean that the snipers don't have it all their own way like they did on line of sight and Suez. So while I won't be running off and playing an awful lot of hardcore mode, or at least this version of hardcore mode, I would like a version where it's basically got less information, but I would like a version where you can actually spot who's on your side and who's an enemy without having to try and guess at the uniforms. So those are my thoughts on line of sight and hardcore rush. Thanks for watching.